Hey, good afternoon, Facebook. How y'all doing? Y'all know who this is. This is your boy, Rob Thomas Jr. from the Real News Behind the News. Oh, yeah. Today is January 30th, Monday. Cold in the mug here in Shreveport, Louisiana. Uh, yeah, January 30th, 2023. And I'm going to be very brief in this video, but this is just something I have to say from my point of view, and everybody that watches and follows the Real News Behind the News know that I'm going to give you what I believe is going on behind what we're being shown in the mainstream media, and y'all know that you can't trust the mainstream media. Now let me give y'all something. Now I know a lot of black people are not going to want to hear what I'm about to say, but the truth is, in my opinion, my truth is what it is. What we saw up there in Memphis, y'all, either way it goes. Now, what we are hearing behind the scenes, and keep in mind, any and everything that I say is speculation because there's so-called, quote-unquote, an investigation going on about those 5 black police officers who beat that black brother to death up there in Memphis. Y'all want to know what I saw in that video? And I'm going to be real. I didn't see race soldiers. I didn't see white supremacy in a sense, but we have to understand what's going on with police departments all around America. They're putting people on police departments in every city in America that really comes from a pool of people in the community that they have to choose from. Meaning that these savage ass black police officers came from savage ass neighborhoods. What we saw in that video, y'all, is the brutal beating of a man who some people are now allegedly saying that, and again, everything I'm saying is speculation, but some people are saying that this was behind a female. When you look at the picture overall and not just look at one piece of the puzzle, if it was behind a female, guess what we're seeing, y'all? We're seeing the savage ass mentality of black people in our neighborhoods. In our neighborhoods. When a dude got a beef with somebody else behind a girl, what happens? Somebody either gets shot or get the shit whooped out of them. Which is what we saw in Memphis, if this was behind a female. What we also saw up in Memphis is the aggression of other black men on other black men who are not able to simply let a situation go if it was behind a girl, or who simply, just cannot deal with certain situations rationally, so we turn to violence. If that was a hit on that young man up there, guess what, y'all? It wasn't no white supremacist who did it. It was a bunch of Negroes who abused their authority as so-called police officers in our neighborhoods to take the opportunity to use that authority to go and beat the shit out of somebody behind a female. If it was behind a female, we don't know what's going on. Everything is speculation. But one thing we do know, that savage ass whooping that them boys initiated upon that young man is nothing more different than the shit that we see go on in our neighborhoods every day. And at the same time, again, like I said in the other video, here we are in Shreveport, Louisiana, with all this crime going on, all these murders, all these shootings. Here we are in Shreveport asking the same people, the police, to protect us from us. So how are we going to ask the police to protect us from us when here in Shreveport we had a couple of black police officers and even white police officers beat the shit out of people, murdered them, and get away with it? It just so happened that even though the murders here in Shreveport was on camera, they were recorded. Tommy McLaughlin, somewhat the situation with Anthony Child. There's been quite a few murders of black people here in Shreveport by police officers that we here in Freeport are not saying, excuse my language, a goddamn thing about. We're not saying nothing about the murders of black people here in Freeport behind black and white police. Why is that? Maybe it's because we're not being shown and it's not being pounded into our heads by the white media who are really, I'm going to be real, the only reason why these white folks showing y'all this on TV right now is so they can initiate some type of racial hostilities. Because even though it was black dudes that was beating this black dude to death, they're telling us that it was white supremacy. Now, how could it be white supremacy if that narrative that's going around now is true, that it was behind a female? What they got to do with white supremacy? No, what that has to do is to show us the savage-ass nature of a bunch of young boys who are raised, most likely, without a father in the home, who resorts to violence. So if it's true that it was behind a female, y'all, let me show you something. That one police officer who was spurned by his girlfriend, whose girlfriend took this other man, who was not a police officer, to be her boyfriend. So this nigga went and got some more of his partners on the police department to beat this dude up. Ain't that the same shit that go on in our neighborhoods every day? Can I keep it real? Or do I need to just go along with the narrative that every black person in America want me to go along with? That it was white supremacy, the reason why this boy got beat up. No, it was not no white supremacy, y'all. It was just a bunch of savage-ass Negroes. Let me show y'all some game here in Freeport. We wondering where these Negroes getting all the guns from, where all the dope is coming from. Do y'all realize it's coming from your police? Do you realize you have Crips and Bloods in your police department here in Freeport? You got gang members in your police department all around the country, white and black gang members. That video that we saw was typical of what we see every day in our neighborhood, with black folks beating the shit out of each other. This case happened to be police, black police, who beat the shit out of another black guy. And from what we are hearing, we don't know how true this is. Again, it's speculation, but it was all behind a female. Now, I know y'all, a lot of y'all not going to like this video. I don't give a goddamn. But you got to start looking at truth. Why are these people showing us all these murders of black people on television by the police officer? Why they don't never show us videos of Mexicans getting murdered by the police? Why they don't never show us videos of even white people getting murdered by the police? Do y'all think it might have something to do with them trying to initiate or further intensify racial tensions in this country? That's what I believe reason why they're showing the video. Now, the reason why this happens, again, is anybody's speculation. Even if they do their investigation, it might not come out fully in the public that it might have been behind one of them police officers' girlfriends left him, possibly. And again, I'm not saying it's true, but this is what the consensus is being said. One of those police officers' girlfriend left him for that boy who they murdered. And instead of moving along with his life, he got a bunch of his thug-ass police homie friends, and they beat that boy to death. All behind some coochie. Do y'all realize most of the deaths in the black community, I'm going to be real, they're not taking place because one black man was trying to build a business in his neighborhood and other black men didn't like it. No, it's taking, most of our murders are taking places behind dope, gang banging, coochie, and money. I'm just keeping it real. And if that's the case, from what we're being told, if this guy was involved with one of them police officers' former girlfriend, he used his position as a police officer, because when I look at that video, I'm going to be real. They did seem like they had an ulterior motive. They seemed like they hunted that boy down, and once they found him, they murdered him. Could have been behind a woman, and if it was, is it really white supremacy, or is it a bunch of jealous Negroes doing what jealous Negroes do on the streets? Beat the shit out of each other. Murder each other behind a woman. We got to stop, man, trying to let these white people in the media tell us what to get angry about. Because if that was the case, again, how come them white folks in the same media ain't put their emphasis on Tommy McLaughlin here in Shreveport, who had a mental condition but got the shit whooped out of him till he died? How come the media ain't telling us really about what happened to Anthony Childs here in Shreveport, where they say he got into an altercation with a police officer who was known to beat the shit out of people here in Shreveport, Travion Brooks? When Travion Brooks and Anthony Childs got into their altercation, all we know is that they say in the middle of a gunfight, Anthony Childs turned the gun on himself and shot himself in the chest. Black people in Shreveport, why are we not outraged about those murders? But we're so caught up in what went on in Memphis. When you done had just last year, just 2 months ago, you had 5 police officers get acquitted for murdering Tommy McLaughlin. When we saw them beat the shit out of him. We saw them beat the shit out of him. Why are we not saying anything about that here in Shreveport? So they're portraying something that they want you to get out there and start riots and all this shit about. So they can either on one side of the aisle, Democrats say defund the police, and then the Republicans say, now we can't defund the police because we need protection from these Negroes who are killing each other, especially black cops. Remember, Ice Cube said they'll slam you down to the street top. Black police showing out for the white cops. Now it's coming out there was a white police officer. One of the voices that I heard was definitely white in that video. Why is he not brought up on charges? So we can talk about the racism aspect of it, but what I saw in that video was I saw some same shit that I see in the neighborhood every day from us doing it to each other, and yet we're asking the police here in Shreveport, the same police now that we are calling race warriors, racist. We asking these same race warrior racists to help us stop some of the same shit that we saw in that video that goes on in our neighborhood every day. Craziest thing I ever saw, y'all.